tonight's PSF and sending it out in an email tomorrow. So in case you didn't catch a lot of different things, and for those people who are not able to be here with us tonight due to our basketball game and other things going on during the holiday season, we want to be able to get this to you. We're really excited about these PSFs, and this one we've been really concerned about because we really feel this is a good one to be talking about. If you've ever had your child ask you, hey, Mom, Dad, can I get a phone? And your first reaction is stomach disorder and thinking, no. We want to give you and help you be equipped as best as possible because we can't turn back the clock. We can't go back to rotary phones and pagers. Things are moving rapidly, and by the time we know about something, your kids have already known about it and have already left it. And so we want to kind of help you be aware of those things. So I'm going to not waste any more time, but would you join me in welcoming Officer Verl Costner?
What we would have is we would have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to actually still go through mine, although you may not be able to see it online here. I know that I've already told the pastor and the principal that I will share this, so it will be given to you at some point in time. Online safety. Let me do this. First off, my name is Officer Costner. I am a 20-year veteran with the department. I am now in what they call the Community Resources Unit, which means we go out in the community and we do different training. So if you ever had something like active assailant, we do that training. Active assailant is what most people can refer to as active shooter training. We do that. We do bank training. We do a lot of things with the school. I spent 9 years as a Super Kids officer, which means that I spent a lot of time teaching children, middle school or primarily elementary school age children. So kindergarten through 5th, we taught a lot of these lessons. This lesson, I'm going to make it to where anyone would be able to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try to make it very simple. I'm going to use the KISS method. Keep it stupid simple, or simply put, very, 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 very basic, okay? So online safety, a lot of times when we think about online safety, the one thing everybody is afraid of is, oh my goodness, what do I do if someone is trying to get my child's attention or even my attention? This is the simplest thing that I've ever told even my students when I was teaching this in school. Your computer, whether it be your Xbox, PlayStation, cell phone, all of those are computers, okay? Your tablets, your laptops, it has a button on it called an on-off switch. Use it, okay? You don't have to sit there and be harassed by someone because they're going to get all of their glory from you being worked up, and you're not going to know who they are. We're going to talk about cyberbullying, okay? That's one topic that I have on here, cyberbullying. What happens, or what do you do when someone is on a computer and they're doing something to you that you don't like, okay? So, online safety. The first thing that we have on online safety is always remember, do not give out your passwords. I know that that sounds very simple, and you say, well, I never do that. People are tricky nowadays. So when they come and they say, well, do you have a password? I always say, especially when it comes to banks, a lot of times people will already have your information. They will have your name. They will have your address. They will have certain things that'll make you think, yeah, this may be legitimate. But there was a movie that came out not long ago. It's called Spider-Man. You need to use your spidey senses, okay? When something does not feel right, you need to trust your basic instincts. So passwords, they're yours for a reason. Do not give out your passwords. A lot of times, if you're anything like myself, at the police department, we have 5,000 passwords. I cannot keep up with them all. So I typically write them down. Where are you putting those? Okay? A lot of times, if you're putting it right next to the computer, guess what? Somebody can come and see your passwords. I like doing this. I like putting things backwards. I'm giving you my secrets. So now when I give numbers, I normally give them backwards. I don't give them the front way. So if I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's my password. I wouldn't do it that way. I would go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? I just give numbers backwards. A lot of times when me and my wife, we're talking and we have our social security number, I'll give it to her backwards. She knows how I give numbers, so she writes it down the right way, but I give it to her the wrong way or backwards. All right? But keep your password safe. Photographs. I don't know how to be nice with what I'm getting ready to say next. We have a lot of people that love to take a lot of photographs, and you love showing people your photographs. But understand, when you put something out in the cyber world, anyone can take that and do something with it, whether that be chop your head off, put their head on it. i.e., when you think you have a friend and you say, ooh, they look very attractive. Now they have filters. You really don't know what people look like anymore, because a lot of times they have all of these things that can trick you, okay? I feel I'm in a church, so I can be a little safe when I say certain words. Again, the devil is a liar. He's going to try to trick you, and no matter what he does. Don't be fooled, okay? Don't use your real name. I got into a lot of trouble with the police department saying that. Well, Costa's talking to us like we're children. Don't use my real name. I have a Facebook account. I have a Twitter account. I have an Instagram account. I'll give you $100 if you can find it. Because I don't use my real name on anything. I don't use my real date of birth. I don't use anything. It's a total lie, but it's me. But if you know me, you would know it's me. I use jumbled up names. I use my friends' names. It's just jumbled up. That's my online name. And they're all my best friends. So if you know my friends, you know me. If you don't know my friends, you don't know who I am. Okay? So don't use your real name when you're doing things. If, again, I already talked about this earlier, but if someone makes you uncomfortable, log off. All right? Remember, an online friend is still a stranger. All my youth in here. An online friend is still a stranger. So the person that you play Fortnite with, oh, I know them. Do you? Well, I go to school with them. Okay, you go to school with them. But what about that person that you don't go to school with, or that person just came into the chat with you guys? Do you know them? Oh, my friend knows them. Again, we now still have a stranger, right? First thing we talked about was strangers, stranger danger. We talked about those. That's when you learned in kindergarten. Same rules apply, all right? So in the news, I'm going to talk about a quick news account. You'll see this one again on the PowerPoint. Randolph County, they did something. Teenagers, women, they did something. Pretenders. Remember, I told you nothing about me online is true. All right? Randolph County detectives were teaching a class on online safety in the Junior Sheriff's Police Academy with high schoolers. While teaching, deputies created a fake web account of a 14-year-old girl. 14-year-old girl. A man named Michael Hagar contacted the girl, or the deputies, and asked to meet her. Detectives agreed to meet with the man, which later resulted in his arrest. I'm going to say that one again. Detectives agreed to meet with the man, which later resulted in his arrest. The students who were interviewed were surprised at how quickly these events took place. Now, online, you're going to see Mr. Hager. Remember, 14-year-old girl, okay? I don't know if y'all can see that picture. He looks 14 to me. Okay? Hey, we got it. Okay? He looks 14 to me. That right there was an eye-opener for a lot of young ladies. Because again, when someone wants to meet you, if I really want to meet you, but I don't want you to know who I am, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you today. Now, again, talking to grown-ups here. I'm going to talk some grown-up talk. I'd love to meet you. Let's have coffee. You meet me down at Moji's, 9 o'clock. I'm going to be wearing a black shirt, some orange pants, and some blue shoes. Now, I'm wearing what I'm wearing right now, so you could totally say I did not tell you what I'm wearing right now. 9 o'clock's going to come around, you're going to come look for them, especially when you tell them, hey, I'm wearing a brown shirt, black pants, and I have glasses on. So now I get to sit back, watch you come in, and wait. Now, your heart's going to be broken. Oh, he didn't meet me there. Oh, yes, I did. The problem is that you didn't see me because I didn't want you to really meet me. My intentions were terrible. Okay? So now you leave Moji's, heartbroken. You're on the phone. Whew, please put that thing away. You're calling. Oh, he didn't show up. Okay? Not paying attention to people following you in your car. You go home. Now what did you just give that person? You gave them access to you. You gave them access to where you stay. They now know what you look like. Oh. Again, sometimes you can even be mad. You got a phone right here. Why didn't you come meet me? Don't ever contact me again. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had something come up at work. Lies, lies, lies. Do not get fooled. Okay? 14 years old. Whatever his intentions were that he stated on that call, they arrested him for. Okay? Inappropriateness. Maybe the language. Maybe what he wanted to have done. I don't know. They don't give me much on that one. But what you need to realize is one thing. That gentleman right there is what we consider a predator. And you are his prey. Again, don't be fooled. So, moving right along. Since they have it here, I'm just going to kind of go from mine what I see right here. Cyberbullying. So, cyberbullying, a lot of people say, well, what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is when the internet, cell phone, or other devices are used to send or post text, images intended to hurt or embarrass another person. These include inappropriate images or videos, vulgar language, hate messages, identity theft. So you're going to see later on in there, I'm going to give you a definition. I'm going to talk about character. I always tell people, I can only use what you give me. Remember I talked about earlier these pictures that you post online. I read something recently, a young lady posted on Instagram. They said 79% of interest is lost when a man says, send me a picture. I kind of laughed about that one, believe it or not. Because I was like, I don't need you to send me a picture when you have plenty on your page. So again, what are they really asking for? If that offended her, if 79% offended her, what pictures are you asking for? Okay? So you don't have to get that attention. I told my son recently, I said, son, you can get two types of attention. You can get good attention and you can get bad attention. Good attention is always rewarded. Bad attention is not. I don't want bad attention. Some people just say, well, any attention is good attention. And that's the world we live in right now. Any attention is good attention. That is a lie. That is from the pit of Hades. Oh my goodness. I've never heard anything so wrong in my life. Negative attention. I don't want anything negative around me. Bad karma. It seems popular, but sometimes popular doesn't mean right, and sometimes right doesn't really necessarily convert to popular. So which one do you want to be? You can be popular and do everything wrong. There's a young lady right now that went to Cabo from my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, who's dead because of her friends. and fighting. Fighting that, oh, look, everybody, oh, fight back, fight back. Go check that one out. They're getting ready to go back to not American jail. They're getting ready to go back to Mexican jail. Woo, good luck on that one. And the laws are different. They get 20 years. Shaquilla is her name. Again, good luck. So again, why is cyberbullying different than just bullying? Well, one, you don't have to be around. You're left wondering who the bully is, and unlikely a physical bully. Let me start that one over. You are left wondering who the bully is, unlike a physical bully that you can see. So again, now you're spinning the wheels because someone said something to you online. Anybody ever heard the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? It's an older saying. My grandmother taught me that. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I also heard a rebuttal to that because they said, well, what if the person that's hurting you is close to you? Then that changes that whole saying. Because if this young lady right here is saying something to me, but I love this person, then her words can hurt me. Okay? Sometimes I always say, train people how to treat you. Train people how to treat you. I said that to my mom. My mom was like, boy, how can you train somebody how to treat you? I said, when they do something that you don't like, you have the right to tell them you don't like it. You don't have to be negative. Somebody says something to you, like, ooh, that kind of hit different. Excuse me, what you just said, it really hurt my feelings. Now, they can either apologize and say, oh, I'm sorry, or they could be like, I don't care. This is somebody I don't need in my space when they don't care about my feelings. And you have to have that kind of strength. You have to have more or less that right there, losing my words right now, confidence, self-confidence. You have to have that kind of confidence about you. Not an arrogance, not a cockiness, but you have to have some confidence when you do things in life. You are important. Let me tell everybody in this room and everybody that's listening to me, you are important. Do not let someone else tell you or diminish your value. Okay? Again, we talked about it earlier, appealing to the bully because they feel he or she may not get caught because they can't see them. So again, these are those things that internet troll is what they call it now, trolling. They love doing. Accessibility. The internet is accessible at all times, day or night. Just because the internet's accessible all day and night doesn't mean you have to be. Again, cut it off. Fears. Victims often do not report cyberbullying due to fear of retaliation. Let's unpack that one for a second. Fear. What are you afraid of? Let me give you an example. Oh man, I knew I shouldn't have sent that picture to them. I knew it was inappropriate. Oh man, they may give it to other people. Fear. Okay? Everything starts somewhere. All right? So that's why I told you earlier, don't give people things. Don't do those things. But let's say you make a mistake. A mistake is okay. Just don't do it again. Mistakes are all right. I made plenty of mistakes in my 48 years of being on this earth. Plenty of them. Did I let any of them stop me? No, I did not. Because if I tell you what my issue is and my problem is, if you try to use that against me, it really doesn't matter. I told you that. I wanted you to know that. Oh, I went and dug up some dirt on you. Great, let's talk about it. What you find? okay? I don't let my fear stop me. An eagle, I once did this in a school setting. An eagle is the only bird that flies into a storm. Most people don't realize that. An eagle is the only bird that flies into a storm. Everything else kind of goes away, sits down, lets it all go away. Eagle's a strong bird, probably one of the strongest. So what are you going to be? Are you going to be the eagle that soars and flies high, majestic bird that everybody looks at and like, mouth wide open as they see it? Are you going to be fearful? Okay. Bystanders. The number of bystanders can be limitless. It could be 10 people or millions. Friends, fans. Not a fan of that one. I don't have a whole lot of Facebook friends. I don't have a whole lot of Instagram friends. I follow a lot of people until you do something that I'm like, I don't think I want to be associated with that one. But personally, I don't let a lot of people follow me. I don't have that many friends in life, and I'm not going to have that many friends online. So now that when someone says, oh, I seen something that you posted or you did something, again, I'm going to let you have access to me. And I'm not going to just give that to you. Okay? So your friends, so now you're around a bunch of people and now y'all are chatting. Or you're on live, especially when they go live now. Everybody want to talk about where everybody's at. Understand, if I'm a thief and you go live at the mall bragging about everything you're buying, and I'm a thief and I know where you stay, I'm breaking in your house. Again, things to look at. Oh, I never thought about it that way. Okay? Again, the world we live in. Typical bullying is usually in the presence of fewer people. However, in the cyber world, an email, chat, text, and other information can be forwarded. So now, and I've recently learned how to kind of, because I never knew how to do it. Y'all got to pardon me. I never knew how to just kind of, I'm thinking of the word. Somebody young help me out. When you, screenshot. Thank y'all. I never knew how to do a screenshot. I was like, how do they do that? Oh, you just hit these two buttons right here, and whatever's on the screen, it stops it. Can I tell y'all something? So now you're making a video. And in your video, I seen a young lady do this. She's a cheerleader. In the video, she's doing cartwheels, backflips, everything else. Unfortunately, she is very innocent in what she's doing. But at some point in time, it goes risque. She doesn't mean for it to go risque, but it goes risque. Somebody that has that capability of stopping your videos where they want it to are waiting for those opportunities. Okay? As you flip across the car or do something, don't give them that opportunity. Just be mindful. Before you post it, look at it yourself, see if there's anything on there that you don't want on there, even if you're on live, okay? Forms of cyberbullying: harassment, impersonation, trickery, cyber stalking, fighting or flaming, denigrate, slander. Okay? Y'all can kind of read all of those on there. We talked about each one of them. Impersonating. I talked about that one. I said if you take a picture, somebody can alter you. Trickery, we talked about that one already. Cyber stalking, repeatedly sending threats to someone in which the victim fears for their safety. I'll slow down on that one. So if you're being stalked and someone's doing something to you on a computer, what do? A lot of times when you say, it'll just go away if I ignore it. It probably not. It's probably not. Especially if someone got an ounce of your attention. It's not going to get better. It's probably going to get worse. Report it, okay? So we're going to start talking about some of these cyber do's and don'ts. So cyber do's, again, report it. Somebody's doing something to you online, report it. If nothing else, just get it on paper saying that this time, this date, something happened to me, okay? Maybe we can do something about it, maybe we can't. I know nowadays, especially with technologies, people can change certain things, but anytime I go online, none of that ever leaves. So we're going to talk about a case real quick about something never leaving. Again, please Google everything I'm telling you. Never take something that someone says just, oh, that must be right. No, because I could be teaching you something wrong. The Vanderbilt case. There was a Vanderbilt case in which a young lady that was one of the pom-pom dancers, unfortunately got taken advantage of by a young man that was on the football team. They thought because they had destroyed the phone, you know, he had lawyer friends and it's Vanderbilt, they could just destroy the phones, throw them away, evidence is lost. No, because you have a cloud. And on your cloud, I can access whatever you put out in the cyber world. So now that you put it out there, I have it. Told y'all this stuff's scary. Nothing's private anymore. Patriot Act. Pay attention. Okay? So nothing's ever really truly deleted anymore. It just goes into a cyberspace where you can't see it. But with the right access, lawyers, judges, I have access to it. And sometimes just really, really good computer people can get these things. All right? Delete messages from people you don't know. I don't even open them because it could be a Trojan to something else. If something doesn't feel right, log off, block bullies. Okay, again, we talked about all those things. Cyberbullying don'ts. Don't forward emails that someone sent you as a private message. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Don't email, chat, or text when you are angry. Say something when you're angry and you'll make the best speech you'll ever regret. Young people now call it you're in your feelings. You were in your feelings and you sent something. And you were mad. And that person at that time made you angry. I'll tell you a personal story. So the other day, I get on my phone. Neighbor friend of mine, our children go to school together. She had told me, she said, that I have to work all week. Can you pick my son up from school or can you take him to school? No problem. They go to the same school. Why not? She texted me during the day. She was like, hey, look, I'm at the hair salon. I was wondering if you could pick him up from school. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I thought you told me that you were working. Which lie is it? Are you working or are you at the hair salon? I think I've been played. I was all in my feelings. I was. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I thought this is a text message. I'm being perfectly honest. I thought you said you had to work today. ... I was like, now, I won't pick my son up till 6 o'clock. If your son needs a ride, I'll get him when I leave. Well, apparently she didn't read that text the way I sent it. I sent it a little angry. She was like, no, I start Thursday. I was like this. Huh? Now, I'm mad. She wasn't. Okay? Sometimes when you start doing text messages, sometimes those are misinterpreted. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes you can read a message and you can read more into it, especially if you know how the person is. Because my wife caught everything that I'd said because we were both included on this same group text. My wife was like, you was mad, wasn't you? I was like, how'd you know? She was like, because I know you. I was like, she didn't pick up on that. She was like, because she don't know you. Because I was fine once she was like, well, no, I don't start until Thursday. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, she didn't lie to me. She wasn't at work currently right now. Her son loves riding to school with me. And then I thought about all the times. Here's how God works. So I thought about all the times to where I was younger and I would ride with my friends. And I would go to school. And their dad would take me or their mom would take me. And I thought about how that made me feel. And I was like, maybe this young man, inadvertently, I'm being a positive influence on that young man. All I'm telling you to do sometimes think. Change your thought patterns. All right? We already talked about don't post embarrassing photos or pictures. Don't give out private information. Don't exclude someone from an online group. And don't erase images or messages. So we're going to talk about this one I'm going to kind of come to. Don't exclude someone from an online group. You have that right to not allow people in your space. I think what that's trying to say is when someone, best example, anybody ever met someone the first time you met them, you don't know what it was about that person, but you liked them? Anybody ever had that feeling before? Great. What about that time you met that person and it was something about them that you felt they were wrong, something was off, didn't feel good? You were like, again, those basic instincts. You have a right to tell or have people in your space. I think what this is trying to say when it says don't exclude people is those parties that you know are going to start trouble or start things. It's okay to tell them, no, I don't want you in my space. But don't do it just to be mean, okay? Here come my quotes, and I'm going to land this whole ship. The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Ooh, powerful. Albert Einstein. So you see something going on, and you just say, well, not happening to me. I personally don't like seeing people hurt. And in the profession that I'm in, that's odd. It puts me at odds a lot. Because sometimes we have to take people to jail. And me yanking someone from their family, I understand can be devastating. But it's the job that I chose. But when you look on and you see people doing evil things or harm to other people and you just turn away, understand you became a part of the problem. Okay? The worst insult in the world is to be called a bully. A bully, someone that picks on someone that they feel, notice I'm going to say that they feel are weaker. So if you're being picked on, teased, or bullied, you're not the problem. The bully is the problem. And remember that first one I said, speak when you are angry and you will make the best speech you'll ever regret. I love this last one. And I'll end with this, character. So everybody in here, you have a character. You also have something attached to your character. The reason I love this quote is I want you to understand how important you are. So it says this, be careful of your thoughts, for your thoughts become your words. So as a man thinketh, so he is. All right? Be careful of your words, for your words become your actions. But it all began right up here. Be careful of your actions, for your actions become your habits. Doing something repetitively over and over and over again. Be careful of your habits, for your habits become your character. I thought it, I acted on it, I began to do it. Now this. Be careful of your character, for your character becomes your destiny. Ooh. Love that one. But it starts with your thoughts. Remember I talked about fear? always afraid of everything. You're walking around in bondage. You're tied down because of your thoughts. I can do anything I put my mind to. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That's why they tell y'all to say these things to yourself every day, so you know how important you are. And I love saying this one. Everyone in here is important to someone. You don't have to be important to the world. You just have to be important to those people that love you and care for you and want to see you do well in life. Okay? So, before I take any questions, here, I'll put this in the back so if you want it. This right here is internet safety. This is a brochure that we give out at the police department. It gives you all the tips and everything, some of the tips that I gave you here during today's class. But it's a nice little simple brochure. You can also find that online if you go to www.wspd.org. Go in what we call the crime prevention area. You should be able to find any type of information that we have here currently with the Winston-Salem Police Department. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to field any question that you may have. One thing about a question that I used to tell my students, there's never a dumb question, only dumb answers. So does anyone have a question or concern? And because we're in the sanctuary, if you do have one, if you just want to stand up and ask your question, I'd be glad to try to answer it for you the best of my abilities. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
As parents, if our child is in a situation where you think an adult is pretending to be a child or something like that, or if we know it's an adult and they're saying they're an adult, what should we do? What's our first step of action to get that handled?
First step of action is to make sure you report it. The reason that that's so important is so that the process can start. Even if you know that the person is, say you have, I'm going to use a daughter. I'm going to use children. Let's say you have a daughter that's 14. We're going to take this one right here, Michael Hager. And the person is 28, okay? We do have a lot of different things that protect juveniles, okay? Yes, ma'am. You can call the non-emergency number. The non-emergency number is 336-773-7700. Again, 336-773-7700. If you have a phone, I suggest you put that in your phone, okay? So you have it in case of an emergency. 911 works anywhere. 911 is good. Let's say you're going down the highway, something happens in front of you, you don't know what the non-emergency number is, just hit 911, it'll give you to whoever the nearest precinct is, okay? But if you have something and you have, again, that sense that something is odd, let us know. Let us do the digging. No need to try to put it all on yourself or burden that whole thing yourself. Let us do what we do best, which is investigate it. If nothing else, maybe we talk to that person, they say, well, no, it's not me, it's my little brother that's contacting them. They're using my email address. But at least we have the front part of it, and then if it persists, we know how to go with it. But very good question.
Is there something that we need to, we just call you guys, or do we need to have certain information?
You can start it off. Let's say you don't have all the information, but you just it just don't feel right. That's fine. Just make a basic report, because even if we don't have everything on it, let's say we don't have a crime currently. We do have something called a police service. A police service is we're putting it on paper, but maybe we don't have a crime just yet. But you just say, hey, someone's contacting my son or daughter, they're on Xbox, not really sure who it is, but this is what I have. What they can do is now we can reference that original report. So let's say 6 months down the line, you do find out what's going on. You could always say, well, I knew about this at this point in time. We now have a starting point. So now we can jump back to the original time or even before that, and we have a timeline. Make sense?
Same thing with bullying, cyberbullying?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Let us know. Cyberbullying sometimes with children becomes a little funny. Also, let the schools know. The SROs are really, really good at the school. We used to be into the school system as an SRO, the school resource officer. I remember when I was at Northwest, we had a lot of bullying online. And what we were able to do, myself and the principal, Ms. Smith at the time, Ms. Smith, we were able to put things together and then do different projects with our children. And we were able to kind of combat some of that because it started on that level and it was interrupting school time. So we kind of put a stop to it. But let the school know, especially if it's child and they go to the same schools. Let the school know just so they have that information. And then, like I said, typically they may tell you, depending on, if it happens at school, the school normally tries to keep it, especially on school computers, things of that nature. But also the question should always be asked, do I need to report this to local authorities? Okay? Let them tell you yes or no. And then you need to be writing something down. You need to have a pen and paper in your hand. When they say, well, no, we're going to take care of it. Oh, Mrs. Smith said on November the 29th at 7:15 that she would take care of it. You'll be amazed that when you start writing things, people pay a little bit more attention. Okay? Don't know why, but they pay a little more attention. Very good question.
Are there any particular sites or apps or programs that you guys know that parents should not let their kids on?
Oh, God. I don't even know all of them. I can honestly say
That they're into that we may not know about.
children are very crafty, and they talk a lot, especially when they go to school. So Snapchat used to be the one that the kids used because it was a quick video that went away. And so when kids found that, they were getting in trouble in screenshots, they now have, I should have brought my sons with me. I should have brought my 19-year-old college student and then my 14-year-old middle school student, and they probably could have answered that question a lot better because they know the sites. I would monitor what you have. Now, parents, you do have things that you can put on your children's phone and their computers that you can monitor it, okay? Some of it may cost you a little bit of money, but for that peace of mind, some of y'all, I feel some child right now getting angry at me. I don't want that on my phone. Did you pay for it? That's what I tell mine all the time. Then it's mine. I'll put on there what I want. But you can put these things on there, and what they do is they kind of monitor, and they give you information about sites, emails, pictures, anything that's been disseminated from that device. It gives you an update report on it. When I looked into it many years ago, it was about $79 a month, so it can be kind of expensive. You can find some a little cheaper now, especially now that technology and apps, but just do your research. YouTube is my best friend. I don't know anything until I YouTube it. So if you ever want to know something in life, YouTube it. Just go on there, hit that little microphone button. Inexpensive apps to keep my child safe. And it'll give you all kinds of information. And then you just do your research.
Could I add a little bit to that?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, because I've got 2 kids who have cell phones, and they're locked down. So if you need to have your child's password. So if your child goes, but that's my phone. No, you have no money. That's my phone. I pay for all that. And you have the right to check it. Now that's going to sound like that's an invasion of privacy. Yep, that's exactly what it is. The Constitution doesn't work with parenting. So you take a look at it. Look at those passcodes. A lot of times you might get that student who has that, I hid this one. Find it all, look for it. The best thing to do is just do that Google search of you can just Google, what apps are kids using to hide things from parents? There are smart parents out there who are getting it out there. Because by the time you find out what it is, they're on to the next thing. And that's the key to work. I'll throw out one more free one out there that we have in our family. It's called Life 360. Now, what that does, if you have it, it's great. My wife, she finds out when I'm going to get coffee. She's like, I'll take this. I'm like, you didn't even know I was at Starbucks. And now she's Life 360 me. It's one of those things where you know where your kids are at all times. So we're not going to confess sins in here, but all of us, maybe just me, has said, hey, I'm going to spend the night with my buddy when you were a teenager, and you went somewhere else. If I'd had Life 360, I would have never had a social life. My dad would have locked that down pretty fast. I'd be close to a monk right now. And that's a good, helpful thing to have. And it's a free app to do. It's even for your kids who are driving. You could spend money on it, and it'll let you know if there's been an accident before you find out. It's a pretty great app, really helpful. There's also some things you can pay for. If you're worried about what they could see accidentally on the internet, there's a thing called Covenant Eyes that you would set up an account with them. So wherever they go to on the internet, you get a report that night. Here's where they went. We hope, and now some of this sounds like, man, I'm just locking my kids' stuff down. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. We're being as harmless as doves, but as shrewd as serpents, just like Jesus told us to be. Yep.
No, thank you. Here's one thing that I love doing. I had a pretty serious conversation with my youngest child before I left out of here. He said something very inappropriate to my wife. And so I'm not my son's friend. I'm their dad. I'll say that one again. I'm not my son's friend. I'm my son's dad. Now, I'm not going to be overbearing because I also know, because I'm their father, I know what DNA flows through their blood. And I always tell young people, the one thing that you have to understand about your parents know everything you're going to try, because we used to once be goofy children just like you, all right? So we know all of those tricks. The best thing that I've been able to do with my sons, and I had to learn this one almost the hard way, time. Spend time with your children. Quality time. Not just when you're getting on them. Quality time of, hey, look, I love you, let's talk. Do you understand this? Have that uncomfortable conversation now so that when they get into situations, they know that if I can't be honest with anyone else, I can do it with mom or dad. Okay? And that seemed to work, because there are times my sons won't say something to me that they'll say to my wife. And there are times my sons now, as they're getting older, they say more to me than they do my wife. But there was a time when I found out everything about my sons because of my wife. Now, my profession, again, took me away sometimes from the home. But I don't do regrets. I just do opportunities. Everything is an opportunity. But talk to your children. First thing is, I tell everybody, my mom saved my life because my mom told me she loved me. She was like, boy, I'm going to be the hardest thing on you in life because I love you. I'll tell you something. My mom don't like me telling this story right here. She was like, why you telling this story? She says, I'm going to beat you before somebody else gets an opportunity to. I was like, oh. Spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm not telling you to whoop your children. Let me say that one again on camera. I'm not telling you to whoop your children. What I am telling you is that your children need discipline. When you go out in the world, your children are a representation of you. I'll often say when you go to school, especially when I used to see this and it bothered me so much that I actually ended up talking about this during a graduation session at one of my elementary schools. You think you're protecting your child by coming into the school and telling people that you don't talk to my child, you talk to me. Understand that person that you just told that to is another adult, that y'all are supposed to be on one page, not separate pages, okay? So what are the adults doing together as one to rear that child? Because it takes a village. So we need to be working together, not separate. And again, if you have that good relationship with your child can tell you when someone's doing something to them that makes them feel uncomfortable. Teach your children that whole thing about train people how to treat you too. But you have to do it respectfully. Young people, I love y'all dearly. I love you dearly, but you will not speak to me like you're on my level, because you're not. I'm an adult. You are a child. I still love you. And we're going to have some good times together. But you have to listen to someone, because maybe I've made that mistake that I don't want you to make. And because I love you, I'm not going to let you walk into that ditch that I walked into 15 years ago. All right? But again, that sport, that rearing thing, not saying that discipline has to be a whooping or a spanking. Okay? But there has to be consequences for your actions. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. You do something, there has to be something to correct that. Any other question? All right. Thank y'all for having me. Again, I'm going to leave these right here with the team here. If y'all do have a question or concern, my name is Officer Costner. I can be found on our website. I am the neighborhood watch liaison for the city. So this number is on, is on the internet. You can find me if you just look my name up, Officer V.C. Costner. Costner, just like Kevin, without the money. C-O-S-T-N-E-R. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Officer Costner. Parents, thank you so much for being here. We do value these PSFs. Again, at Salem, we like to say we don't have customers, we have partners. And we're partnering with you, as Officer Costner said, to help you raise your children to be the men and women of God that He's designed them to be. And so we thank you guys for coming. We do have decaffeinated coffee in the back so you can go to sleep tonight. We also have cookies provided, so make sure you thank Ms. Cole for picking those up for us. We're so glad you'll be here. Don't rush off, get some coffee, have good conversations. We love you guys. We'll see you.